It's official. Ram is joining NASCAR in the Craftsman Truck Series, and I got a new segment for you guys today. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin NASCAR episode 6. I've done 6 of these. That's incredible. Yeah, it's already feeling like I'm getting a little bit old just from doing 6 of these episodes. Anyway, we got a packed show for you guys today, but I want to start out with my own review of yesterday's race at Michigan International Raceway. And I might have rated Michigan's race a little bit harsh, and maybe it's because I'm a just die-hard Wisconsin sports fan, maybe because I hate the Lions so much, maybe it's because I hate the Pistons so much, and how Isaiah Stewart keeps getting into fights. I will hold that over every Detroit Pistons fan till the end of time, or at least until Isaiah Stewart retires, that he got into fights with every single player in the NBA. I will hold that over them. Besides the point, I may have rated Michigan's race a little bit too harsh, and I rated it a 65. I completely overlooked the amount of runs in the draft being such a underrated component of this race. And the battles throughout the track, yeah, they got a little bit spread out and the battles were here and there, like for 15th. I've fallen into the trap of having close side-by-side racing in one big pack is a good thing. And that's not what racing is supposed to be. You want to see the pack get strung out, cars going a lap down, the clear um, distance and like difference between the first place car and the 37th place car. I got to get on that train there, if you know what I mean. But the restarts were chaotic. We saw a couple crashes, which were the chaos we needed. And I also saw great racing, side by side racing, people getting runs on the outside. The outside lane was a incredibly superior lane. It was tough to make a pass on the bottom unless you just drove it in there deep and hope it stuck. Quote there from Doc Hudson, Cars movie, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean. If you know, you know. Anyway, I was a little bit harsh on Michigan, and I got to give Michigan International Raceway some credit. And yes, the next gen car makes it hard to pass, especially on the inside. But that's how Michigan is. You got to be able to run the outside and run the bottom very well. It's how you get good side by side racing, and you get runs off the corner. So there's that. I'm not going to dwell on it too much. Do I reevaluate my Michigan rating? I gotta give it a better rating. I'm gonna go 80% on it. I know I don't normally do this, and I haven't done this, but I have the right to change my ratings whenever I want, and I feel a little bit bad about rating Michigan's race a 65%. No, no, I'm not doing that. 15 points higher. We're going to 80. We're going to 80. End of discussion. Let's move on. Now, before the drop of the green flag yesterday at Michigan International Raceway, there was a huge announcement that Ram will be returning to the Craftsman Truck Series in 2026, and it's a Ram 1500 Hemi model, it looks like. Nah, I'm just kidding. If it was a V8 engine, we would see Ram and Dodge get banned like it's 2012 all over again. No, they will be running a spec engine, the same engine both Chevrolet, Toyota, and Ford all use in their trucks. It's just the same engine. It's not like the Cup Series where you have Roush Yates engines building engines for Ford. You don't have Toyota Racing Development building engines for Toyota, or HendrickCars.com or Hendrick Motorsports building engines, or ECR engines building engines. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be the same spec engine. And in Xfinity, it's kind of like the similar thing. You have the big teams leasing engines from the big manufacturers like ECR and Hendrick and Roush Yates and stuff. Anyway, it's not going to be that. It's going to be a spec engine, but it sure does look like a Ram 1500. And I want to read a couple quotes from Tim Kuniski, the CEO of Ram. I think I'm saying his name right. I hope I am because I don't want to do that. But he was asked about this and was available to the media during this announcement. So I'll read a couple quotes from him. He said, quote, "For more than a decade, customers and our dealer network asked about getting back into NASCAR. The desire was always there, but we didn't have a plan that delivered the last 10th, and following just didn't fit our DNA. Now we have a solid plan that will set us apart from the field and will bring fresh new interest and engagement to America's motorsport." So there you go. It sounds like Tim Kaniski, CEO of Ram, is very happy to have Ram back in the NASCAR world, and they even had UFC champion Anderson Silva take the track in a Hemi branded T-shirt to film a commercial. Which the commercial, by the way, which was incredible, by the way, that they filmed at Darlington with the Raminator monster truck that I am a big fan of because I'm a Monster Jam fan. I've seen that truck in person and on TV, so there's that. And then they had the truck, they had all the Hemis. It was really cool. I was really it was very catching. I'll say that it was a very um very big eye-catching moment on TV. And Kaniski does say that he does want to have at least 4 to 6 entries in the Daytona race next year for the Craftsman Truck Series. I don't expect they're going to get a lot because they are a new manufacturer. It does take them a little bit to build up a fleet. They're not going to be like Ford or Chevy that has, I don't know, like a third of the field every single week. But I mean, even Toyota, they're a little bit outnumbered in the Truck Series field. So we'll see how that goes. Could we see a team like ThorSport, the legendary Ford Truck Series champion team with Matt Crafton, Ben Rhodes, defending champion Ty Majeski, Wisconsin native. Shout out Ty Majeski, Jake Garcia, Luke Fenhouse, all those guys. Could they switch? They've gone back and forth from Ford to Toyota, back to Ford most recently. Could we see them back in a new manufacturer with Dodge? There's also been some rumors about GMS possibly entering back into the sport. Now, I don't think that's going to be quite the same thing because we've seen Maury Gallagher, owner of GMS Racing, withdraw from the NASCAR world. He sold off his remaining stake in Legacy Motor Club to Jimmy Johnson. But Spencer Gallagher is racing in the ARCA Menard series. So maybe we could see there's been some rumors about GMS entering back in with Cletus McFarland, the internet and YouTube sensation who's made a couple ARCA starts as well. He'd probably be like a celebrity brand ambassador, if you will, kind of like how Richard Petty is for Legacy Motor Club. Speak of the devil there. We could see that. I think we could see that. But overall, I'm not seeing GMS necessarily running in the truck series. Maybe they'll help with getting the truck chassis set up, you know. Overall though, that's what I think of when I hear GMS could be coming back. But it would be cool to see GMS back on the racetrack because they were really good with Grant Enfinger, Raja Caruth, Jake Garcia. Back in 2023 was the last season they ran full time. I mean, I'm here for it. I think it would be really cool to see GMS back in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series with Ram. I mean, I remember they were going to jump up to Cup as their own separate team, GMS Racing in the '94, but then they partnered with Richard Petty and Petty Motorsports, and then came Petty GMS, and then Legacy Motor Club, and then they bowed out. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know. There's also a question about how was Maury Gallagher? Why did Maury Gallagher leave? Did he just not like the direction Legacy Motor Club was taking? Was Jimmy Johnson taking too long to get that program up and running? I don't know. Anyway, there you go. Ram back in the sport. There's some other real quotes here that I am going to read. There will be more details on our NASCAR Cup Series program later this year. Added Kaniski, we are undoubtedly having fun with this project, and I truly look forward to sharing information on our team and how getting back on track relates to the future of Ram performance. Okay, and I know also all of this is all in part because of so much of the backlash about them discontinuing the Ram V8 or the Hemi, and now they're bringing back the Hemi. And with it, it's a good time for them to bring back in their involvement in NASCAR. So all of it is really good timing for, I would say, good timing for Ram and the Stellantis brand, at least on the Ram side, because the car market has been kind of fluctuating a little bit, you know. So many manufacturers looking to go hybrid, then to electric, back to hybrid because they're finding alternate fuel because maybe they're running out of gas or, I'm not big into politics, guys. I'm not big into politics. I don't know all that. My dad is. I'm not. So there's my take, but it's just perfect time for Ram to enter back in. And I also heard that Dodge could also be returning to the Top Series. And we originally did hear that they would follow a year after Ram in 2027. Now it's looking like it will be a little bit later in 2028. Seems more realistic by 2028, or at the very least 2028 is their target year, because it does take a little bit of time with the spec car and like how they do it. Because if you look at some of the cars out there on the track, like the Mustang, the Ford Mustang Dark Horse, yeah, it kind of looks like a Mustang, but I mean, not really. I mean, the Camaro, that doesn't really look like a Camaro to me. That Camry doesn't look like a Camry very much to me. It doesn't have the swinging door, you know. It's not street legal. Either way, really happy to see Ram. This could lead to Dodge coming back into the sport as well. So really happy to see Ram back in the sport. John Probst seems very happy. The NASCAR Executive Vice President and Chief Racing Development Officer. I'll read him a quote real quick. Quote, Ram returning to the NASCAR Craftsmen Truck Series is a major moment for the sport, and a sign that NASCAR remains a strong platform for blue chip brand partners. We are excited to welcome Ram back to the sport, and its identity includes high performance, durability, and innovation characteristics that embody NASCAR, and specifically the Craftsman Truck Series. I agree with that. I quote end quote. I agree with that. It all makes a lot of sense there. Anything else I want to add about this? It also looks like John Probst believes that Ram and Dodge are not the only ones. I'll read you another quote real quick. We are excited to see that they have interest in the Cup Series, said Probst of Stellantis, the brand, the mother brand of Ram and Dodge. I don't want to jinx ourselves, but I would say that we are very close with one another manufacturer. Even with that, there's one or two others that we're a little bit earlier in the discussions. End quote. Okay. Uh, what he's probably referring to, John Probst is referring to, is Honda. There's been a lot of rumors about Honda potentially entering the sport. Hyundai has also been mentioned as well. It would take a lot for Hyundai to get back into NASCAR because they are a hybrid and really pushing electric and hybrid. I don't know if NASCAR would really want to go that route. Yes, they have debuted an electric prototype. I don't know. I really don't think that's very close to being ready. I really don't think that it's going to be the primary car, because NASCAR, it needs the rumble, it needs the loud engines. That is what NASCAR is. You don't want to hear the meow of Formula One or IndyCar. No disrespect to IndyCar, but IndyCar is, I don't know how people really find the meow, the high pitched stuff. The high pitched whirring of the engines on Indy cars or Formula One. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't deal with that. You got to have the loud engines of NASCAR. But there you go. Ram back in the Craftsman Truck Series. We could see Dodge entering the Cup Series in a couple years. Another Stellantis brand. Maybe another Stellantis brand. Maybe like Chrysler could enter the sport. I don't know. I don't think they're a big racing company, but you never know. It could be Chrysler in the Cup Series. I I don't know. I don't know. But really cool to see Ram back in the Craftsman Truck Series. And to wrap it up here today on a little more serious note, I have a brand new segment. It is going to be my Talkin NASCAR Power Rankings of the NASCAR Cup Series. It's going to be just the Cup Series. Maybe I'll throw an Xfinity Series Power Rankings out once in a while, but I will be ranking the top 10 fastest NASCAR drivers in the Cup Series right now based on past results, this week's results, and upcoming tracks and the schedule, and just give you a little bit of an update and see who you should be on the watch for heading into the next couple weeks. Got to start with an honorable mention here. Bubba Wallace had a great finish to the race at Michigan. He was running very, very well. Didn't quite have race winning speed, but overall, we've seen 2311 Racing take a step up. Tyler Reddick had a 13th place finish, but he was running really well. Charlotte, he was running really well. Nashville, he was running pretty solid. And Bubba Wallace, he's picked it back up. Even Riley Herbst, the rookie, who really shouldn't be in that car, or he's kind of keeping that seat warm for Corey Heim, he's been stepping up. So Bubba Wallace as an honorable mention there. Carson Hocevar will start us off at the number 10 position. Look, Carson Hocevar, whether you love him or hate him, you can't deny the speed is there, and especially for a Spire Motorsports car, a team only a couple years ago we're just trying to make this business work. And clearly, Jeff Dickerson and all that Gamebridge money has really put a lot into this program. And now we see guys like Carson Hocevar, Justin Haley, and Michael McDowell, a wily veteran, making a lot of big moves on Sundays. So Carson Hocevar, you can't really you can discredit him for all the mistakes he'll make and the tires blowing out and running hard, wrecking Ricky Stenhouse Jr. All that you can discredit him, but you cannot deny the speed for Carson Hocevar is really, really good. He may fall out of this top 10 after Mexico City because he's not really the best road course racer, but even still, the speed on ovals is really good for someone like Carson Hocevar. Christopher Bell will come in the number 9 position. Look, Michigan was weird. He didn't really have the pace that his teammates Denny Hamlin or even Chase Briscoe had. I know Chase Briscoe got finished a little bit worse, but it looked like Christopher Bell was kind of lagging behind his teammates. Even Ty Gibbs, who's been probably the 4th best Gibbs car all year, he finishes in P16, was running on a weird strategy with Chase Elliott. And Christopher Bell, he's a good road course racer, but after that finish, I really can't put him up that high. He can definitely climb the rankings after a good race. And plus, he won 3 straight races early in the year. He's locked in the playoffs. He can afford to gamble a little bit. Overall, I can't hate too much on Christopher Bell. He will be kind of locked in, in the power rankings right now. Ross Chastain will be in the 8th spot. Had a good result in Michigan. He's been kind of carrying the banner for Trackhouse. Trackhouse hasn't been great, but Ross Chastain continues to grind out finishes, and he does have a road course win under his belt. He won back at Circuit of the Americas in 2022. Ross is a solid road course racer. Is he the best? Maybe not, but I would say he's a top 10 road course racer, and I think that you will see him kind of fluctuate throughout the bottom half of the power rankings going forward. But Ross Chastain at 8. Number 7, Chris Buescher finished P2 at Michigan, his best finish of the season. And he's a really good road course racer. There's not much to say there. He won at Watkins Glen last year, and he's overall just been one of the best overall drivers at road courses, kind of like Alex Bowman. Kind of under the radar everywhere else, and on road courses, he's pretty solid. The thing about Chris Buescher, though, he's a little bit better than Alex Bowman. So, Chris Buescher, Mexico City, it's a new track. I'll give him that. I think we'll see guys like Shane Van Gisbergen and AJ Allmendinger, the calling and Trackhouse guys, maybe step up and watch out for Daniel Suarez as well. But either way, Chris Buescher, good road course racer, had a really good result at Michigan. You can't deny that the RFK right now is on a hot streak. So watch out for Chris Buescher at Mexico City. Chase Elliott at number 6. Just smooth and consistent throughout the whole year. Finished P15 at Michigan and really hasn't had anything too crazy. He did lead some laps though, but we do want to see that race winning speed though, and we haven't really seen that out of Chase Elliott, I would say, since 2022. And even before that, 2020 or 2021 were like the best years of Chase Elliott. But ever since the next gen car came about, we've seen Chase Elliott kind of fall off a little bit. But road course racer, Chase Elliott, he's very good. And we got a lot of them coming up. So watch out for Chase Elliott to lead some laps and maybe steal a win on like a pit stop. Because is he better than Shane Van Gisbergen or AJ Allmendinger? I don't know. But he's in a Hendrick car, and he's one of the most consistent drivers in the sport. I'm not too concerned about Chase Elliott, so he will come in at number 6. Number 5, Tyler Reddick. Finished P13 at Michigan. Wasn't bad, but we've seen 2311 Racing again kind of turn it up over the past couple weeks. He had a good result at Nashville, Coca-Cola 600. He was running pretty solid. And overall, Tyler Reddick, he's a good road course racer as well. He won Road America a couple years ago. He's won Circuit of the Americas. So Tyler Reddick, he's a good road course racer. Again, it's a new circuit in Mexico City, but overall, you can't deny that Tyler Reddick is one of the better road course racers in the sport. And I think P5 maybe a little bit high. Maybe someone like Ross Chastain or Chris Buescher deserves to be there. Maybe Tyler Reddick should be a little bit lower on the list. But overall, on raw pace, I think Tyler Reddick is one of the better drivers. I think he's a little bit better than Chase Elliott, too. Maybe that's a hot take. I don't know. But either way, Tyler Reddick at 5. Number 4, Ryan Blaney. Had a rough day at Michigan, spun out, hit the wall, and he did get that toe wing fixed, and he did finish the race, but he's got 5 DNFs on the year. That's not really good for Ryan Blaney, but he does have that win at Nashville. He probably has one of the better long run cars in the Cup Series. But going to a road course, Ryan Blaney's not really the best on road courses. I would say he's like a top 15 driver. I wouldn't expect a lot from Ryan Blaney. I think he may fall down the list a little bit, but you know what? He can surprise me. Maybe he'll play some funny pit strategy. But overall, Ryan Blaney, one of the most solid drivers in the Cup Series, so he will slot in at 4. Number 3, the 5 of Kyle Larson. Yeah, Kyle Larson, good day at Michigan, finishes P3. I mean, there's not much to say. He didn't really have the best car. He definitely didn't have the best car at Michigan, but he's been very, very solid. I mean, I've noticed since the Coca-Cola 600 and that failed double attempt, he's been a little bit on the weaker side, but Nashville, he was solid, and he's one of the better road course racers out there in NASCAR. Will he be contending for a win? It all depends. Can Kyle Larson get out of the slump that he's in? And I say slump, we're just not used to seeing him be kind of in that P5 to P15 range. We're kind of used to seeing him running up inside the top 5 a little bit more instead of outside the top 5. But Kyle Larson, he's one of the best drivers. He's got 3 wins. He'll slot in P3. Number 2, Denny Hamlin. And now I know you might be thinking I'm crazy. He just won the last race at Michigan. But hear me out here. Denny Hamlin, he's been on a roll recently. He's been very, very consistent. I get that. But I also have to take in consideration going forward. He had the best car on Sunday. Maybe not the best long run car, because I think Chris Buescher could have made it interesting later in the race. But Denny Hamlin's been very consistent, and through all the outside noise, his wife is overdue. He has a whole nother race team to manage. They just lost a major lawsuit battle against NASCAR, and he's got a whole bunch of stuff going on. He's 44. He's in a contract year. Like, there's a lot that Denny Hamlin has got to deal with, and yet he's able to win a race like that, show his expertise at 44 years old is incredible. So he will start at number 2, but the guy I do have at number 1, I feel like going into next week could be a major, major contender for his second win of the season, and that is the 24 of William Byron will slot in the first position. He ran really well at Michigan, and then he had the fuel. He ran out late at the end of the race. Finishes P27. I get that the finish doesn't look good, but he had one of the better cars all day. Just faded at the end. Couldn't quite hold off Denny Hamlin, and he's one of the better road course racers. He won last year at Circuit of the Americas, and he was in contention this year, and just kind of lost it a little bit at the end this year, earlier in the year. But he won Daytona, and he's one of the better road course racers, and he was really good at Michigan. And recently, he's been very good. He was in contention for the win at Nashville. He led a bunch of laps at Charlotte. He led a bunch of laps, what was it, at Darlington, and then lost it. William Byron, he's done everything right except the finishes. If he can get the finishes, he can definitely be one of the best winners. Honestly, he should have like 4 or 5 wins now. He just has to finish the races, but him and Rudy Fugle have formed one of the best crew chief driver duos in the sport. So, William Byron at 1. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Should I have Denny Hamlin in the first spot? Should I move Tyler Reddick down? Should I move Chris Buescher up? Should I have someone in here that you don't think is in here? If your favorite driver's not in here, let me know down in the comments, and I'll consider putting him in next week or making them an honorable mention. And if you want your comment to be heard, let me know, because you got to give your comments, guys, and I love to shout out your comments in the episodes. I would love to do that. It gives me something else to talk about. I love that kind of stuff. But anyway, that's gonna do it for me here on this Monday night. You'll probably be listening to this on Tuesday, but there you go. My power rankings, my first ever power rankings. I'm gonna be doing this every week after every single Cup Series race. I'll be ranking every top 10 driver in the sport. Let me know. And later this week, I will be giving you like a weekly wrap up, and then I'll be previewing Mexico City on the circuit. I forget the circuit's name. I gotta look that up and share your name, because it's a funny one. It's a cool name. It's a cool name. I love cool name racetracks. But thank you guys for listening. If you guys are into Apple Podcasts rather than Spotify, we are up on Apple Podcasts, and I'm working on the YouTube stuff. YouTube is taking a little bit of time, but hopefully maybe by the end of next week we should be up on YouTube. Also, go check out Talkin Sports with Miles and Andrew, the other show I do. I'll have that link down in the description below. But that's gonna do it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.